Hey everybody, Rick from Tremor Outdoors. Today we're going to be doing an install of the F-150 LEDs Sentinel rear brake light. Really excited about this. Now I gave this a try last week and I had to reach out to my contact at F-150 LEDs because my truck has the Pro Access tailgate. And because of that, I'm going to show you some images of there's an alignment bracket that is required to keep everything in line and stop rattling and stop premature wear on the motorized hinges. So these bolts that are underneath on the lip where I was going to use the 3M adhesive for the light bar right in the middle of the way. And so I was kind of at a quandary, what am I going to do? What I'm doing actually is I'm going to use the clips that the kit comes with and I'm going to shim them out a little bit. What I don't want to do is use the clips and then have the bar kind of bow out over top of those bolts. You'll definitely see that. I want this to look as good as possible. So what we're going to do is shim out the clips a little bit and reduce, if not completely avoid, having any of the bowing happening to the light bar. So without any further ado, let's get at it and I'll show you what we're working with. Here's the lip that we're going to be attaching to. Now as we scroll along, take a look at that. You can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. There is the alignment bracket. And that alignment bracket is imperative that we don't take it off, don't mess with it, because that is what stops everything from rattling. Because we have a kind of a strange way that the door connects. And so we want to keep that in place. What I was going to do is just use the adhesive and run it straight along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shim out, as I said, the clips a little bit as we do the run along and hope that that will avoid any of the bowing and silliness. So let's get going. So one of the first things we're going to do here is we're going to just measure up our bar and measure up the gap between this corner edge here and the far right side. Measure that, figure out how much space we'll have left over and split the difference to get our bars centered. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to take the wire and we are going to feed that wire down through the hole here, and so that it's underneath and out of the way for now. All right, I've measured that strip from the far side of the lip to the other far side. It's about 64.5. So we'll call that 32.25 is going to be dead center. And now we measure the light bar and see how big that is. Okay, I've measured the brake bar, measures 62.5. All right, with those measurements, it means we have about an inch on either end of the light bar, and that'll put our bar centered on the back of the truck here. So I'm gonna take some tape. I've already taken tape and I've notched off here to let that know where the center point is, and we will do an inch on either side. There we have it, so an inch on either side, so the left side of that green tape. And then we go down to here, we look at there. All right, my plan is going to be to use an extension for the drill bit. I bought these drill bits at Home Depot. They're sort of, they're titanium drill bits, so you can drill through wood, plastic, metal. But they have a built-in adapter to go into a chuck. But I'm going to add an extension on it because I need a little bit more length to get into where I'm going to drill because of the bumper and all that gets in the way. I did a test fit, and with the screw, now these aren't the screws that the kit came with. I went and bought these at the Home Depot because I needed something a little bit longer and larger. And the problem that I have is that they don't sit really flat in there. As you can see, that the plastic is kind of countersunk, but it's not countersunk enough. So I'm going to try my best to ream these out just a little bit more with my drill, see if I can get that screw to sit a little bit deeper into that pocket. Okay, so important thing to note here. So I did ream out the clips a little bit, and so the head of that screw is sitting much more flush inside of the clip. And then if you look, you can see there's a washer. Let's see if I can get the light to go this way. There we go. There's a washer and a 1/4 inch nut and a lock washer on the other side, which is keeping it in place and shimming it out so that we get that really good shim effect, and we're getting past those bolts there. The other thing I want to make sure to tell you is don't put the clips all the way to the far ends, because if you have to adjust, it's going to get in your way. So give yourself some play on either side. I've tested it out, and looks like we're in the money here. So I was reviewing the video footage when I went back upstairs, and I noticed that there's where your backup light one is there, and there's a fair bit of a gap. And if you come over to here, it's pretty much there. So this actually needs to shift this way. And what threw my measurements off is the fact that on the end down there, that end is longer than the other end. I'm gonna have to unclip it, shift it down, and then we should be okay. Just got to adjust it probably about half an inch or 3/4 of an inch. Okay, change of plans.
Yep.
I'll let you explain.
Okay, originally we were going to go to the 7-pin that's located behind the bumper there, thinking all our connection points at one point. Only concern with that, this truck is going to get used for putting a boat into the water quite a bit, and possibly salt water. So it's very hard to protect those connection points, even from a professional point of view. So we decided to go up and behind the taillights where it's going to be a bit more protected, and do a solid connection there. And I'm going to show you how I do that with a double wall heat shrink and solder to make sure that there'll never be any problems. So we're just going to walk through all that today.
Let's get at it.
All right. Okay, Rick had previously mounted the light bar behind the tailgate. What I've done is split the harness into two for the wires that are going to go across to the passenger side, and the ones that are going to come up the driver's side, so we can route them. And I'll just strap it and secure it along the factory harness that runs behind the bumper. Okay, now we're at the point where we're going to be wiring our lights in. We're starting on the passenger side. So I've got my wire harness cut open here so you can see. Just carefully cut the loom. Make sure not to cut any of the wires because we don't want to expose them or damage them. I've isolated the couple wires back here that are our signal and running light. And a lot of times what you do is you end up cutting that and soldering and using double wall heat shrink. That's a secured way of connecting wires and sealing them from the environment. The problem is when they're run in a harness like this, is when you cut them, you have to wrap them together and it shortens that one wire in the harness. An alternative to that is a heat shrink butt connector like this style, which you can crimp it securely, as well as you heat this up and it actually glues and bonds and seals to the wire, so it can't have any elements, moisture, any kind of corrosion potential. So it's a very acceptable way of sealing it up and not changing the overall length of it. You can see with this kind of a butt connector with this sleeving on the outside, how it's shrunken down. You can actually see the glue that bonds it and seals it squeezing right out past the sleeve. It's a nice flexible so it doesn't go hard and brittle. It's a great way to seal off your connections from the elements.
All right, so you can see all the connections are done. They're sealed up. Looks great. Awesome job by Martin. Now that is a professional installation, right? So we've used the butt connector, sealed it all up. Then it's had the special electrical tape put on it that's really, really strong. And then the loom, and then on top of the loom, more electrical tape. So that isn't gonna have any problems down the road. All right, so these are the butt connectors we're talking about. Highly recommend them if you're going to look to get a really good solid installation that's going to ensure that you don't get any, moisture or dirt or whatever getting into there. And then this isn't just a regular electrical tape, it's a Scotch brand. It's a fairly high-end tape that's thicker and adheres better than just cheap basic electrical tape. So check it out, get those, and you should have no problems when you do your wiring connections. Okay, go. Yep. Yep. Yep, we're good. Yeah, it looks good. All right, so that was fun. Thank you so much for your help. Now, you want to explain sort of what we had a little glitch at the end, and I'll let you explain sort of that voltage thing too.
Okay, initially when we tested it, everything functioned. It has a bit of a startup feature, a sequence it runs through. The second time we did it, it didn't run through that sequence initially. We found that we had the light bar sit at rest, all power off for a bit. And it probably has to do with how some of these new vehicles ground the systems. And it may have left it not quite rested at full ground until everything goes to sleep, all the body control modules and computers. So you may come into that same problem that we had, where initially it won't do that startup sequence every time if the vehicle had just been running. But if it sits for a bit, it should do it. So just something to keep an eye out for.
And so we're good.
Yeah, we're good, and it worked out really good. We're happy with the install. It's a really nice piece.
Awesome. You know what? Thank you so much, Martin. And thank you so much to Thomas and all the crew at F-150 LEDs. Link is down below. Check them out. Amazing products. I'm so over the moon excited about this. And there's a whole bunch more goodies coming. Stay tuned.